Hello there, my name's Scott. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the Bulli A2-T repairable atomiser, which I purchased from www.bullismoker.com. That's bully-smoker.com. So no need for any disclaimers today. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead, show you it in a little bit more detail, and also I will do a sort of type of tutorial on how to actually sort of build the atomiser from scratch. Okay, so the Bulli A2-T is basically a repairable tank atomiser, and when you get order one, this is basically all the parts that come included. You get one bag which contains 3 of these little square meshes. Obviously I've been using the Bulli for quite a while now, so I've only got 2 of these left. You get 2 of the tank cartridges, you get the actual Bulli itself, a pin. You get 1 metre of wire, and according to what's written on this bit of cardboard here, it's a 0.15 gauge wire, and you get 1 metre of this glass fibre wick. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll show you the actual Bulli in a little bit more detail, and then you know, from scratch I will make up a new atomiser. Right, so this is the actual, obviously, main part of the Bulli A2. Uses a 510 connection, and it consists of sort of 3 parts. You've got the like the cone sort of part here, which then leads to this section which has the spike, which will go inside the tank cartridges and then feed e-liquid down onto the heating coil. And that just obviously just screws on now, and then this other section unscrews, and then you can see the actual the heating coil and the wicking material. Okay, so what I'm going to quickly do now is just going to attach it to a device. Now, because at the moment I've had this one going, this particular sort of coil setup going for around, probably, but I've had it for about maybe 8 days now, so it's not looking the prettiest. But I'll tell you something, you watch this. It's still vaping excellently, and I'm not no burnt taste, nothing like that at all, no wicking problems. You know, it's 8 days old. It looks a bit grotty, but it still vapes like it's an absolutely brand new device, or brand new coil on there. It's getting quite hot actually. Okay, so let's just go straight ahead now and show you how to make one of these straight from scratch. Okay, for the first stage, you need to be able to create 4 strands of the glass fibre wick, and you can, you know, cut off those sort of strands to length. But you need about 1 inch length worth of each strand in order for you to be able to sort of, you know, hold it comfortably and actually sort of make the atomiser. You know, so there is a little bit of waste there, but you know, this glass fibre stuff, you can get it for about £18 for 100 yards. So, you know, it's very inexpensive, and that'll, you know, 100 yards of this stuff will keep you in atomizers, you know, for a good few years, I would have thought. So the first stage is you need to have 4 strands of the glass fibre, and that's it. Let's go into the next stage. For the next stage, you need to take the pin that comes supplied, hold it against the glass fibre wick, and basically this is what you're going to be wrapping the heating coil around. For the next stage, you've got to take the wire and start wrapping it around the pin and the glass fibre. Now you can sort of play about with this, and but basically 5 turns, you need sort of 5 coils basically, which will give you a resistance of around sort of 2.4 ohms. And I think, you know, depending on how far apart the coils are, you know, if you only added 4 coils, if you added 6 coils, again, this is all going to affect the actual sort of resistance. So you can sort of play about with it to find one that you like. Incidentally, you know, I've also got different wire which a friend of mine sent to me, Mr. Steve Montuno, who's also on YouTube. And, you know, he sent me some of the low resistance wire, you know, so thanks for that, Steve. And again, you know, I just sort of experimented around with the, you know, different amount of coils to get like what I personally prefer. But I'm going to do it according to what the manufacturer recommends, so that you need to have sort of 5 coils. So this is a slightly sort of tricky part. You need to be able to hold the actual wire as well as the obviously the wick and the pin, and then start making the coils around it. And you need to do them sort of quite tight, and you want to try and get them close together as well. 2, 3, 4, 5. So hopefully, as you can see there, I've now got 5 coils going around the wicking material. Okay, for the next stage, you then need to attach it to the on the side of where the 2 sort of screws are there. Just hold it in place. Make sure like the coils are sort of roughly in the middle there, and just take one of the strands, wrap it around the one of the screws. So try and put it a little bit tight. Hold that in place. Now you can sort of do both at the same time. Personally, I find it a little bit easier to sort of tighten one up. Just sort of do it finger tight for the moment, just to sort of hold it in place. And then you take the other one and basically repeat. You don't need to sort of wrap it around there hundreds of times, just just a couple of times, or just once really, and then tighten it up. And tighten that one up a bit more, and that's it. So it should look like that. And the next stage is to actually sort of lift this up so it's on top, and you just literally got to just sort of slide it over like that. So as you can see, the coil is on top and in between those 2 screws. And then you can get your cutters out and just trim off the excess wire. Like so. And then you can remove the pin. And then you just need to sort of trim up the obviously the excess there. And so I'll just basically just do it just a little bit overhanging the side of the screw there. And again on the other side. Obviously other people might have a slightly different way of doing this, but this just seems to work a treat for me. So I'm more than happy with that. And so that's that stage complete. So we'll go on to the next stage now. Right, before I go any further, what I normally do at this stage is attach it to one of my devices, just to make sure that it's actually sort of, I've done it all correctly and it's all going to fire up. So I'm just going to add some menthol flavoured e-liquid, just to basically just sort of give it a little bit of a primer. Just needs about sort of 3 or 4 drops. And this glass fibre stuff, it really does soak up the juice nicely. Now hopefully you'll get lots of nice vapour now. And you can see it's all pairing up nicely. Okay, so what I can do now is then attach the spike part, and that just screws on top, and we can carry on with the rest of the build. Okay, so for the next stage we need to make, I suppose you'd call it, another wick, which will actually sort of run down the centre spike here and then feed e-liquid from the tank down onto the heating coil. So when I made the wick, obviously I had a bit of excess, so you just keep hold of those sort of bits of the glass fibre, and you can use those for this stage here. So you need to get 2 of the glass fibre strands, and you get the mesh, put that in the centre, and you just basically just need to start sort of wrapping it around it. Which is a little bit fiddly, but once you've got the ball rolling, it's fairly simple really. As long as you're not cack-handed like myself. That's it. So just roll it up sort of fairly tight. And there you go. And these little meshes, should I say, they can be reused many times. Just rinse them under the water. So even though it only comes with 3, they will last you a long time. And again, you can buy sheets of this stuff for literally sort of like pence really. Okay, so then what you need to do is you need to cut off the glass fibre so it's sort of flush at one end, like so. And then you need to cut it at the other end, roughly so there's about like a millimetre sort of hanging out. So once you've completed it, it should look roughly like that. You then need to basically insert this inside the spike, and you just got to make sure that you insert the end, which has got the the glass fibre wick sort of sticking out. And I just find, you know, if you sort of give it a slight twist as you do it, it just helps to sort of stop all those sort of fibres getting caught up around the edge here. And you just got to do it so you can just about sort of feel it touching the coil, just so there's a little bit of resistance there. Right there, I can tell that's about right. And then just get your scissors, and you just need to sort of trim it off so it's sort of basically flush with the top of that spike there. And then just sort of fatten it out a little bit to make sure it's all going to flow nice and easy. So it should basically look like that afterwards. And then finally, all you need to do is then attach the atomizer cone. So that just screws on in place. And then you get your tank cartridge and pop that in the top there. And that's it. You just need to now attach it to your favourite 510 device and you can start vaping. So I'm just going to quickly screw that onto my Galileo. And I must say the actual quality of the Bulli is really excellent. Like all the threads are very well made, and you know, it really does sort of ooze class. And incidentally, you know, it comes in either aluminium or stainless steel, but you have to pay an extra €8 for the stainless steel. But you know, I'm glad that I paid the extra money. I personally would have preferred the stainless steel. As you can hear, all vaping nicely. Just show you that again. Lovely. Right, let's go and see what it vapes like. Okay, so that is the Bulli A2-T repairable atomizer, which for me, you know, it looks like such a nice, really good quality little. It's not really a device, atomizer, I suppose, or a gadget, and you know, it really is, you know, built to a very good standard. And like I said, I chose the stainless steel version. Now in the close-up shots I said I had to pay an extra €8, but when I just checked on the website it's actually an additional €5. And I think for €5 it's definitely worth upgrading to the stainless steel version, which is obviously going to be a little bit more sort of hard wearing compared to the aluminium. Now the Bulli kit, it comes with a set of the wire, and I find if you're doing like sort of 5 coils, then that gives you a resistance of around sort of 2.4 ohms. Obviously you can sort of play around with it, you know, experiment a little, you know, add an extra coil or take off a coil, and obviously that does affect the actual resistance. Now for me personally, a friend of mine on YouTube, Steve Montuno, he very kindly sent me out a little package, and he gave me a massive sheet of the mesh. He gave me a load of wire as well. He gave me some, I think it's 0.16 gauge and 0.20 gauge, and the 0.20 gauge is sort of like a low resistance type wire. And I find if I use that and make sort of 5 coils, that gives me a resistance of around 1.7 ohms. And that really is an absolute cracking vape. But obviously, because I'm reviewing the actual product that I purchased and what comes in the kit, I've obviously made the Bulli up with the wire that comes included. So this is reading at around sort of 2.4 ohms. So I'm going to start off then by using it on my Galileo. Just got the 18500 3.7 volt battery in there, and then I will sort of show you at high voltages as well. As you see now, just on the sort of pretty sort of standard voltage, using the actual wire that comes included with the kit, with the old 5 coils, and you know, you're getting a really nice amount of vapor there. For me personally, you're getting plenty of flavour as well. I've not tried any fruity sort of flavours in it, so I can't really say, oh yeah, it's great with fruity flavours. I can tell you with my sort of favourite tobaccos and my favourite menthols, I really am getting tons of flavour out of it. And you know, throw hit wise, and I'm getting plenty of throw hit as well. Obviously, when it comes to sort of throw hit and obviously the amount of vapour as well, is going to sort of be slightly dependent on what sort of e-liquid you're using, and obviously the nicotine strength of the e-liquid. I find that the higher the nicotine content, then like the stronger or the harsher the throw hit. And also with the e-liquid, I'm just using just like a straight PG e-liquid, which is propylene glycol. But if you had a VG liquid or vegetable glycerine, and that's going to produce even more sort of thick, sort of dense vapour. And now I've not used any sort of VG liquids in this, so I can't say, oh yeah, wicks perfectly. But if you go and watch Steve Montuno's review on the Bulli A2, he only uses sort of VG liquids, and you can see that his one's working perfectly with that sort of type of e-liquid. In terms of sort of wicking, it's fantastic. It really is. I fill up the tank. I don't get any burnt taste, anything like that whatsoever. I don't get any dry hits. I fill up the tank and I can vape it until it's completely and utterly bone dry. Wicking side of things for me is absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to quickly stick it on the Pro Vari now, and I'm just going to obviously, because it is a tank system, so you can't sort of start bumping the voltage up too high, because otherwise the tank just can't feed e-liquid to the heating coil like quick enough basically. But this is set at 4.4 volts. Excuse me. Actually, producing that little bit more vapour there, getting a slight sort of touch more throw hit, and the flavour is still exactly the same, just still getting sort of plenty of flavour out of it. But now, like I said, when I use that low resistance wire and I create a 1.7 ohm atomizer basically, then I use that 4.2 volts. And for me, that really is an absolute blinding vape. You're getting loads of really thick vapour, you're getting loads of throw hit, and you're getting tons of flavour as well. Okay, so I'm sure some people might sort of think that I think it's sort of €70 or something like that. It seems like an awful lot of money to pay for an atomizer, but you've got to bear in mind though that once you've paid that initial outlay to actually sort of replace an atomizer, it probably works out at literally a couple of pence per atomizer. If you obviously the Bulli Smoker website, they do sell spare wire, they do sell spare wick, and if you buy it from there, obviously it's going to sort of be a little bit pricey. But if you sort of do a bit of internet searching, then you can find websites that are selling like 20 meters of the wire for a few quid, 100 yards of the glass fibre wick for I think it's like £18, and you buy 100 yards of that stuff, and that's going to last you for absolutely forever basically. And so when if you can again slightly sort of paying out in bulk, but then the cost per atomizer afterwards, you're going to be saving yourself an absolute fortune over the long term. In summary, I can't really praise it enough. It's I think it looks the nuts, it vapes great, plenty of flavour, plenty of vapour. And I just love the fact that you can just sort of go and build your own atomizer. And there's something very strangely satisfying about taking the top off and just pressing the button. And I do say, well, if you I'm not going to do it because I'm going to cough my guts up. It does make you cough, but if you just sort of hold your mouth over it and breathe that in, the amount of flavour you get is absolutely crazy. Anyway then, so if you fancy trying one out for yourself, go along to www.bulli-smoker.com, and thank you very much for watching, and also come along and visit my website at www.e-cig-reviews.com. That's e-cig-reviews.com. Cheers guys, happy vaping, see you later.